Hi. So I got a request on my most recent live stream where I did talk about online dating briefly to do a video just discussing online dating and my thoughts and opinions about it, why I'm not into it, why I don't do it. And, hopefully with this video, I offer you some perspective. And at the very least, I hope if you are on these websites, you'll just take into consideration some of the questions I'm going to pose to you. So just to start out, the question I would ask you is, are you where you want to be right now as a person? And be honest with yourself. Like, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with your level, your appearance? Are you happy with your lifestyle? Are you happy with your job? Do you have the skills that you want to have? All of these are gonna play a factor in the type of person you're gonna be able to attract anyway. So ask yourself really honestly, am I even supposed to be dating right now? Like, is this the best use of my time and energy? Because a lot of the times I see people just compulsively get on these websites because they feel something gnawing inside them that's missing and they think it's another person. It isn't, okay? It isn't. That gnawing, empty feeling inside is you hungering for your full development. And honestly, you're just never going to be happy with anyone that you get with if you're not happy with yourself. So I just want to say that first and foremost, okay? A lot of people prioritize dating and relationships before they prioritize their financial security, their own physical health and well-being, their own mind even. And it makes a lot of sense because we are in this culture that is constantly feeding us these messages that there's something wrong with you if you're single. And I'm single. I've been single for a number of years now. And, I've had a number of relationships that maybe didn't go so well. And I've had to sit and kind of reflect about that because intuitively, this is stuff I already knew. But you're a human being and you're going to be impacted by a lot of this stuff that you're fed, and you're going to feel like a lot of the time there's something wrong with you if you don't have this great romance or partnership in your life. There is nothing missing. There is nothing wrong with you. You have just been given an opportunity to develop yourself further. And honestly, I don't think most people really know who they are until they reach their middle ages. So with that being said, I would like people to kind of chill out a little bit and stop buying into this myth that that's something you need to be doing all the time, because in reality, you don't. Especially like for women as well, we're just given all of this nonsense about how our time is running out, and we're not going to be desirable the older we get. But the reality is that younger people are plagued with a lot of issues that make them undesirable for dating. So if you are younger, if you're in your 20s or even your 30s, I would really strongly suggest that you focus on developing yourself, because the more you develop yourself, the more likely you are to meet people as well that are going to share your interests and values. You need to be living your life. And the reality is, most people who are on these dating apps are not involved in anything. They're on there because they don't have communities they're involved in. They're in there because they're not doing things with their life. People should have activities that they do. People should have hobbies. People should be volunteering. This is where you meet people, okay? And there's no substitute for that. There is no substitute for meeting people in person. It just always is going to go better for you in the long run. And I know it's hard, and I know that there's, just, I don't know, I don't even care that it's hard, okay? The reality is society has been put through, most of us, regardless of what nation you're even in, had to live through this pandemic. And a lot of people became more isolated. A lot of people kind of withdrew from public life. We need to get back out there and start living in the real world, okay? The internet is not this magic thing that's just gonna solve all your problems and bring you everything you want. I know it portrays itself that way, but what it brings you is, not that I haven't found really great, strong friendships through it, or really met really cool, interesting, quality people. I have. But if you're expecting it to bring you someone that's going to be a compatible mate, it's just less likely to. And you'd be much better off if you were focused on, the real world and having a community in person. And the reality is a lot of people on these sites don't. And I did get some comments saying that, the quality of people out there is just not good. It's these kind of beliefs as well are really harmful. I want to say that too. If you want to find someone, if you want to, eventually settle with someone or have a relationship, if you are going into it with a defeatist mindset already, that there's no good people out there. And, you see this too, women out there like crying, there's no good men left, that kind of thing. Like, if that's your belief, that's what you're gonna have, okay? You're setting yourself up to fail with that mindset. So just let's stop that. There are good people out there, but the good people out there are out doing things, okay? They're out there living life, doing things, positively contributing to their community for the better. And so if you want to meet quality people, you got to be a quality person, period. Okay? Stop projecting that out onto others and start looking within. Okay, so the other thing is too, we're fed this, what these apps do, and what my initial reaction to it, just watching people on them, because I've had people like in my home on them, like scrolling through it. I'm like, what are you doing? And my friend, she was like, oh, I'm looking through Tinder. It's a hookup app. That's what she called it, a hookup app. Okay, I'm not gonna name names, but you know who you are if you're watching this. Shame. But anyway, yeah, I looked at her, I was like, oh, I thought it was a dating app. Okay, so there's something flawed right there. A lot of people are on these websites looking for one night stands, hookups, okay? So be wary of that. That's not something you want to get involved in, okay? That's not, I know sometimes, you just want that little rush and that little bit of validation, but, no. Okay, no. Get over it. Grow up. So yeah, people are on there. So yeah, I'm watching it and I'm like, this looks like me when I get on Amazon late at night, open up my Amazon app and I'm looking at like, like household stuff or, clothing, makeup, like whatever, accessories. This is like how I get. And I'm like, okay, that's a problem, because people are like doing the same kind of behavior, and I'm just seeing the way they're like reacting and they're like swiping on people. First off, how is it different than being like going shopping? Okay, how is this different than going shopping? Okay, it's like you're going shopping. You can't shop for a partner, okay? I mean, you can, but is your money right there? We'll go with that. Is your money right enough to afford to buy a partner? Okay, no. it doesn't, there's something in the behavior itself and the way that it lights up your neurons. It also makes you think that like you have all these options that you don't really have. There's all this quantity of people you can sift through. But how many of these people are going to be the quality of person that you're looking for, okay? If you get off these sites, you may go on less dates. If you get off these apps, you may find that, you go a few weeks, you go a month, maybe go a couple months without really meeting anyone or going on any dates. But, I think again, getting back to like the culture's messaging that is driven into people, like, oh, if you're not doing this, there's something wrong with you. You're not really desirable. It isn't true. Okay. And honestly, the more exclusive you are, the more desirable you are. Okay. That's another thing as well. If you aren't as accessible, if people have to work to get you, they're going to, actually value you more. And you're going to go on dates with people, it may be less, it may be once every couple of months, but those are going to be experiences that are of a greater quality. And even if that thing doesn't work out, at least it was a more quality experience. Whereas if you just meet some random person who might be just looking for a hookup and lying and didn't even read your profile, because that's the other thing too. Back when I was on OkCupid like 10 plus years ago, most of these idiots didn't even read my profile. It was a paragraph, y'all, okay? They're not interested. And, you also just don't know who these people are. They're not vetted. They're random strangers. So you can find yourself like with an individual across from you who's just, it could be anyone. I just want to put that out there. Like, I'm not trying to scare you like, oh, this person could be a killer or this person could be, violent or whatever. But, this person could have a lot of problems. This person could be like, have mental health problems. This person could have financial problems. This person could, dump on you about their ex. That's another thing too. Like the way in which people just serially date. It's called serial monogamy, like go from relationship to relationship to relationship. And then they're bitter about every single one of their exes. And then you like sit across from them and like, well, the problem's you. The problem is you. For me, myself, even though I've had some like difficult relationships I've been in, I'm really not bitter towards any of those people. I know that I made choices that I probably shouldn't have. And a lot of those choices made were for the wrong reasons. So, just say for me to hear, a lot of this is coming from experience, not experience specifically being on these recent dating apps, but when you have a relationship that doesn't go well, and this is the advice I would just give, that's a time to look inward, okay? It's not that person's fault, because probably you knew going into it that it wasn't gonna work. You knew going into it that this person wasn't right for you. You knew going into it, but you were so overwhelmed by your base desires, your need for validation that you went along with it. Then you turn around and then blame them. It's not their fault. It's your fault. If you aren't able to fill your own cup, if you aren't able to validate yourself, and if you aren't able to love yourself single, you're just not going to be the kind of person that's worth dating anyway. And that's the reality about a lot of people on these sites. They're, driven by their base desires, which is what drove them to this site in the first place, instead of thinking rationally about like actually the proper way to meet someone, okay? And that's why you're on there too, most likely. I'm just saying the truth. I'm just speaking the truth here. And And it's, you know, I'm not saying this like every person that's on there is a bad person or like not spiritually developed or whatever. I actually know some people who, you know, are married, who met on dating sites or dating apps, and I'm happy for them. You know, I'm glad that worked out for them. But I think for the majority of people, it's just not good. And if you are somebody who is unique in any way, talented in any way, special in any way, you really need to value yourself more and think about, is this the appropriate way for me to go about finding myself a mate? Is this, you know, is this what I need to be doing? If you love yourself enough and you value yourself enough and you invest enough of your time, energy, money into yourself, you know, even though you may have these desires come along to, you know, be with someone, you're going to be good alone. And when you're good alone, you're in your power. So, yeah, I would just encourage people to really think about quality experiences, quality dating versus quantity. And to take this energy that you're and time that you're spending on these sites or apps and put it back into yourself. And to really, again, go to the back. Let's just, you know, circle back to the beginning of this video just to hammer it home for you guys. Are you who you want to be? Yes or no? If the answer is no, ask yourself this question. Is dating my priority right now? Is the answer yes or no? If you are not who you want to be, the answer better be no to both of those. And you better start investing that time, energy, and money, if you're paying for any of these sites, back into yourself. Okay? Learn a new skill, learn a language, take a class, join a freaking club or something. Okay? Get out and meet real people, because that's where you're most likely going to meet someone of quality who's going to value you and treat you the way you want to be treated. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Okay, don't get sucked in to this time-wasting, energy-sucking thing that's going to leave you discouraged and feeling like there's nobody that's quality out there. There are plenty of quality people that are available who will, you know, be compatible with you. But you need to be the kind of quality person that they're looking for as well, which means you need to really kind of focus on yourself and developing your own personal life and making that richer, making your community richer, knowing people, meeting people, rather than spending your time meeting strangers who also have no like community as well. I mean, that's the thing too, like, you know, you're on there because you don't have a network, you don't have a community, and they're most likely on there for the same reason. But those are choices you've made, and you can definitely choose to stop that and look at ways of actually meeting people in person. Even if you don't meet people who, you know, you want to date, okay, these are still people, and every human being is a resource, okay? You have to remember that. Every human being that you meet knows people. I mean, mostly, okay? If they're out in the world actually living their life, they know people. And you could be someone they know. And, you know, I would say love and romance just works better when it's spontaneous. You know, when you just meet someone and you think they're cute and you flirt, and it just works better. And they see you as a full human being as well. I'll say that as well. This, you know, if you're swiping and scrolling like I do when I get on Amazon, okay, it's going to be hard for you to see these individuals, just for yourself as full autonomous human beings and individuals. And on the other end of that screen, you know, when it matches, they're probably having the same thoughts and feelings as well. You know, that little rush of, you know, excitement and validation, but really not seeing you as the full person that you are. So take your time, go for quality, and invest in yourself, okay? Invest in your life. Make your life what you want it to be so that you can actually have the kind of relationships that you genuinely want. All right, and with that, I'm gonna go, okay? Bye. Let me know what you think, and give the video a like and share to y'all.